When I look at like my earlier music, I feel like a lot of it was based on trauma. When I'm writing music now, it seems so different to the older music that I'm finding it hard to release it. What has happened with social media is opened people in the public eye up to attack. It's bad, but it's good at the same time. You need to be in control of your emotions, because if you don't, you've lost. Everyone's in control of you then.
Well, guys, and welcome back to the Podghost Podcast. First of all, happy belated New Year now. Thank you very much for all of our supporters that have been supporting us and obviously subscribing to our channel. Make sure you continue, because we're going to be having bigger and better guests coming on. And
on that point,
yeah, you might as well just start.
there's no way to start 2025 with Nolay. Thank you. You know what?
Much coming on.
Before we start the podcast, guys, I've been wanting to get Nolay on the show for literally the first week of us starting.
I'll be real with you. When I heard you tell me that she's coming and then she never came, I was like, yeah, you're giving it the biggest, bro.
So no, without a doubt, without further ado, Nolay, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good, you know. I'm actually really good.
Yeah, how's life treating you at the moment?
Life is treating me really well, to be quite honest.
Traveling?
Yeah, I'm traveling a lot. But do you know what? Look, I ain't even got it in my pocket. It's in my bag, but I've got my weight scale. You know, the scale that weighs the luggage with me, because I was going to ask one of you if you've got a screwdriver so that I can fix the battery.
Yeah, he's Bob the Builder. He'd have one.
Yeah, from there.
But yeah, because as you know, I'm flying in a couple of hours. I'm going back abroad.
But you know what? Even more so, the fact you're going away and you still gave us that time and to come on and
I wanted to do it though, you know. But I've had like a lot of people asking for podcasts and freestyle sessions and all the rest of it, and I've just kind of, I know some people are going to watch this are going to be like, you to England and you didn't. But I came back just for like a week, almost a week and a half. It's been.
Yeah.
Came back on the 24th, I think.
yeah, it was recent, very recent.
Yeah, on the
I was speaking to
24th,
you,
and then
and you were away, and then we saw
yeah.
pictures abroad. Your
This is international.
jet setting now, but it's all exactly. So now you know what? When people come on, we always like asking them, because with you, there's so much. There's the music, now the acting, and the business side of things.
yeah.
I want to take it back to your early years, the young Nolay.
Yeah.
How was it growing up? Where was it? You know, just growing up in general.
I think
It plays a big part in what you become today.
Yeah, I think when people ask me
Yeah,
that question, what was it like growing up? It's such a like,
generic.
no, it's not generic at
Yeah.
all. It's a good question, but it's like my brain gets really frazzled
Yeah.
because it was like that kind of like growing up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I came from a really like rough background, but my mum, you know, she did the best
Of course, yeah.
that she could, kind of thing. And I feel like when I look at like my earlier music, I feel like a lot of it was based on trauma, if that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah. These days, when I'm writing music now, it seems so different to the older music that I'm finding it hard to release it. Does that make sense?
The energy's different.
I'm kind of like, you're so happy.
Where's that aggression gone? Yeah.
Not even because there's still like some kind of like passion and aggression there, but I feel like it back then, it was more like a release for me and a trauma response. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
of course it does, 100%.
And I feel like now, because I've grown so much and I've grown in ways that I didn't realize I was growing in, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I've become like a lot more like centered, a lot more at peace with myself. Do you know what I mean? A lot more feminine as well, because I used to be like a really I still have those elements to me, but so much of me has changed. And I don't know if you've heard that saying when they say like, in order to become the new you, you've got to let the old you kind of go. I'm almost at a struggle at the moment where it's like, I love that Nolay, but it's like, how do I find that balance now where it's like, we still have those elements,
I feel that.
but do you know what I mean? So it's like a shift. It's almost like I'm battling.
Corn in between.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm battling with myself, but I'm enjoying it at the same time because I feel like I'm still trying to find myself. And do you know what? Actually, I found myself, but I'm still trying to introduce the person that I've found in the right way. Does that make sense?
Of course, 100%.
And create that kind of balance where you get it right.
That's it.
If that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
That's why I haven't rushed out
I was just gonna say,
any music.
yeah, that new thing, that new you, basically that creative side to you, that could obviously help you out in your music, anyways.
Definitely,
Yeah.
100%. But like back to what you were saying about how I grew up and all the rest of it, I feel like it was very hard. So because it was very hard, it kind of formulated and it kind of paved the way. It gives you the hunger, it gives you all of that. But it's like now, I'm not saying I've lost the hunger, but it's a different kind of.
No, I feel that 100%. So when, obviously growing up, when did you actually first feel to yourself that, you know what, I want to be a musician, I want to get into the music scene? Because everyone knows it's not an industry for the like, you know, light-hearted or the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
It's a very cutthroat, and everyone who goes into it, a majority of people know that.
Yeah.
So what made you go into it? And when did you have that eureka moment that, yeah, you know what?
I feel like I fell into it by accident. So it was like, I wanted to do it, like, don't get me wrong, but okay, so basically, like, English was my favorite lesson. Like, a lot of people might have thought it would have been drama or music, but it was actually English. Like, that was my favorite lesson. Whole time, Miss Sims. She was like my favorite teacher, and just I realized that I had like a way with words, and I used to write a lot of poetry. That's what I was about. And I used to, because of the kind of like background I came from, we come from like humble beginnings. So we didn't have a lot, but there's one thing that I made sure that my mum got for me. It was a library card. And I would go to the library and I would when I say I would take out so much books and literally get through so many books like in a week. And I feel like that helped me as well. So I really had like a way with words, but I never thought about rap. I just thought about poetry and writing stories and all the rest of it. And then one day I was on the bus, and you know, sometimes when you're coming from school and people are doing the beats and all that back on the back of the bus. And I remember sometimes our schools, the secondary schools, there'd be a few different secondary schools on the bus.
Yeah, I feel that.
And there were some guys at the back of the bus, but like older, and they were doing like
My beats,
and stuff, and they were rapping and that.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize until a little while down the line that they was actually rapping like Mobb Deep stuff. And then that's when I started getting into Mobb Deep. But I remember listening to them, and I was at the front of the bus.
Yeah.
And I remember just listening to them and thinking, I could do that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, you're not even that good. Had the thing. Yeah, like, and then that's when and then I went home and I started to write, and I started to really find a passion for it. Like, oh my God, like
I'm good at this.
I could do this kind of thing. Like, and so I started to write, but it was like more of a thing where I was keeping it to myself.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of people, they talk about like from you know, from our generation, that they came up on grime and garage and all the rest of it. But I was listening to like East Coast rap. Like, that's what I
Grew up on.
that's what I was like. I have never really looked at myself as a grime MC, although I was introduced on grime. I've always seen myself as a rapper that can spit on grime. You know, and I came up on a lot of like East Coast rap, and you know, the Smack DVDs and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of like what I got into. And then one day I was in a club and I shouldn't have been there. When I think about it now, I don't even, like, you knew how old we was and you still let us in, like, really and truly. Even though we lied about our age and that, I still think you mustn't. Now, when I look back at pictures of us, I'm like, you must have known. But anyway, we got inside this club and I was in there, and I used to call myself Vibes, which was so
You spell it with a Y or I?
with an I.
Yeah. Z as well, I think.
So Vibes, so gross.
So I got vibes now, but
It's so cringe. So basically, I used to call myself Vibes, and I remember being in the club, and there was this guy, and he was MCing, basically on the mic. And I said to my friend, I didn't know that there was someone standing behind me that was actually part of their sound kind of thing. And I said I looked at my friends and I go, oh, he's shit, man. Like, and my ego then, I feel like when you're younger, you are kind of,
confident.
I'm still confident. You're like, you're arrogant in a way.
Yeah.
Like, you just,
Nothing phases you, does it?
yeah, like you throw caution to the wind. You're just like, do you know what I mean? And I said to my friend, oh, ish, man. Like, I could do better than that. And there was a guy behind me that was in that part of their sound, and he went, go on then. So I turned around. I was like,
Oh, joking. I was joking.
shit. No, I went up there though. I went up there and like did my thing, MC'd, and the people liked it. And then
was that one of your first times?
One of my first times. And then I just remember I did a dub with, there's a DJ called DJ Eastwood.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I did a dub with him, and I was part of like his little sound for a little while. They were called Too Good to Be True.
Okay.
And we did, I don't know if you remember that song that used to go dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it rings a bell. Yeah.
The bounce tune, basically. Yeah, that was him.
That's it.
That was him. That was his beat, because he makes a lot of beats, and he was really sick. So we did something on that. And then there was a gentleman called Crafty that worked in a record shop, if I remember rightly. So, and he heard it and came, and he was like, I want to try to get you signed.
Wow.
So I was like, okay. And these are around the times when Shiesty got her deal.
Oh, yeah.
As well, or was about to get her deal, from a gentleman called Ben Palmer. He was working at Polydor at the time, basically.
Yeah.
And so Crafty took me to meet him.
Okay.
And I was very like, I had this thing with labels where it's like, I didn't trust them. So when I went there, I was like, I don't really want to sign, kind of thing. Like, I would go there and hear them out, but I would be like,
stay independent.
I don't really want to sign. And the thing is, not a lot of younger people were like that. Everyone was snatching deals like left, right, and centre.
What was your reasons for that? Because obviously at that young age, you weren't exactly experienced.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just God's protection.
Yeah, agreed.
When I think about it, because I honestly couldn't tell you why I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that kind of thing. And then he said, okay. And this is when he signed Shiesty and he signed Dougs.
Okay.
And then they changed his name to Dirty Goods.
Yeah.
Don't know if you remember when that happened. But when I had the meeting with him, he said, there's you and there's another female MC called Shiesty. You know, I'm thinking about signing. And he said, but I've also got these guys from West London that I'm co-managing called Unorthodox. He said to me, and that's how No Help, No Handouts came about. Now, I liked the idea of being part of something like that. And I liked it. I feel like I liked it because, like I said, I was following a lot of like East Coast rap and that. And you had things like Foxy and Firm and, do you know what I mean? And Kim and Biggie and the whole kind of, so for me, I kind of looked at that and was like, God, we don't really have that in the UK. Apart from like, obviously like So Solid and Lisa Mafia, we don't really have that kind of dynamic.
100%.
So when he was telling me about them and playing me their music and I heard them, I was like, I was more excited about that than signing to Polydor. You know, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And even now, like you get, which frustrates me sometimes, you get people saying, why did Nolay never get the flowers she deserved? Why did she never sign a big deal? I sat in so many offices in front of so many of the big boys.
Oh, you can imagine, yeah.
That Guy Moot, and he was saying to me, you know, I can get you Salam Remy. And Salam Remy did, like, he produced for Amy Winehouse and he did Lauryn Hill. And so it's not like I didn't have the opportunity to do these things. And in some ways, maybe I was arrogant. You know, I remember having a meeting with Guy Moot and from EMI at the time. I'm not sure where he is now. And I think they was doing Wiley and Skepta at the time as well. They was going to do their publishing too.
Right.
And I remember them offering me, like, I think it was 60 bags at the time. And I was like, but Wiley's getting 150. I said to them,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? And obviously he was much more established than me. Pay as you go, like he done so much. Because I remember I was watching Wiley, do you know what I mean? As like a youth and being like, wow, like Wiley kind of thing. So when I look back now, it was a bit arrogant, but I believed in myself that much that I looked at 60 grand and I was like, no, I feel like we could make this on road. If I'm totally honest with you, as a tomboy in those times, the things that we were doing, I felt like this is okay money.
It's not life-changing.
It's not life-changing. And I feel like if they came to me and it was like life-changing, then maybe.
Yeah.
But I felt like with shows or whatever else and the things that I was being offered, I could just mash this in a few months from doing shows and doing. So for me, I was kind of like, well, Wiley's getting 150 kind of thing, not really. And then I didn't really pursue these things. So a lot of people think that I didn't get
Opportunities.
my opportunities and my chances, but I did. But I didn't take them. And in a way, I'm glad, because there were a few other artists around me. I remember when we did Run the Roads
Yeah.
compilation, and when they was doing the promotion for Run the Roads, they promoted it with a vinyl.
Right.
And you had like Plan B on one side, remember the artist? Yeah. And you had my song, Unorthodox Daughter, on the other side. And that obviously that was released through Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers had the imprint called 679.
Right.
Of Dan Stacey and Dan Stacey. I remember Dan Stacey, hold tight, Dan Stacey. He was the A&R for them at the time, and we probably drove him nuts. I remember because he was doing all the running round, I'm like, trying to convince all the artists to sign, and even he came to me and asked me, will you sign, to 679? And I was like, and then at the same
point, you're with no one.
Yeah, and I'm glad, because when I look back now, there were a lot of artists I feel like they did sign, but I feel like they signed prematurely, and you don't really hear about them now. And I'm not saying that I'm Beyonce and everyone talks about me now, but there is still relevance. There's still relevance there. Whereas I feel like sometimes when you sign, it's almost like it washes you out. Like, I can't explain it.
No, I feel that. Obviously, knowing the music industry, I know exactly how that feels. On that same topic, obviously, when you're obviously getting into music, now the public eye, being someone that's like, you're just mentioning, whether you're Beyonce or you're not, whether you're Rihanna, it doesn't mean you have to be on that level to be a known person. Right? Now, with you, that stuff came, don't forget, we're talking about quite a long time ago. Nowadays, anyone's TikTok famous or, respect to everyone, but I mean, it's a lot easier now.
Yeah.
You did it at a time, like you said before, Seff, off camera, that I used to watch Nolay. Like, I used to love her. Like, what's going on? Like, now she's sitting opposite me, How was it at that time, growing up in your peak years, being someone that's always watched, or every move being seen, everything you say is getting taken wrong?
Yeah.
People putting you up on websites and all, without mentioning no names, your name was echoing around the net. How does it feel to actually
I think it's worse now than then.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think because you got to understand the culture was different then.
There's way more social
There
media.
wasn't really a cancel culture like that. It wasn't, we were saying and doing what we want back then.
It's so true, because you think of that. Sorry, I won't carry on, but because you mentioned Wiley earlier.
Yeah.
It's the same as Wiley. Back then, you could say whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Now, when he spoke up, he got cancelled within 2 months.
Yeah. And I do you know what I feel like?
So true.
I feel that now at the moment, with social media, a lot of people, they judge you and they treat you a certain way. But I think a lot of it's because we've been put on the same plane. And that's not for me to say I'm better than you, like we shouldn't be level, but what has happened with social media, it's opened people in the public eye up to attack 24/7. People are trying to attack you. But it's bad, but it's good at the same time, depending how you take it, only because it made my skin so thick. I think at first it would get to me, but I think now when I look and I kind of pity these people, because I see a lot of mental health issues. That's how I see it. Because when I see something on the internet that I don't agree with or I don't like, I might have a discussion.
Yeah.
It depends what it is. When you've got like real stuff going on in the world, like
So,
real issues,
yeah.
then you're probably going to find me in a couple comment sections having something to say.
Because
But when I go past something like, I don't know, like someone's dressed like this, or someone has broken up with their baby father, or someone was seen at a restaurant, like, and you see this thing on blogs all the time, and then look through the comment section and you see all these people like judging and talking about these people and talking about how this person looks because they've had surgery, or how this person broke up with their boyfriend and their boyfriend's a cheater, and I look at these people and it's more the people in the comment section I look at and I pity than the actual people that they're writing about. I'll be totally honest with you, because I feel like if you have that time on your hands to sit there and to just judge and to just talk about people, and when these blogs used to write about me, because they would take anything and write about it, like it would be
anything.
even when I've gone on dates with certain people, I've been a bit paro, because
Yeah, of course.
they're never too far, these people. Like, they will write about you. And it used to really bother me. I remember it used to upset me. Like, and this was like quite some years ago, like I would look and I would see people writing and judging, and you see people lying as well. Like you see the most random comments. Like, I know her, and and her family's like this, and and these are people, they don't know you from no. Yeah, this sort of takes life on there. Like
It's just toxic, innit?
the thing with the internet, people can get on there, they can lie, and they can say what they want.
Of course.
You know, you can't even believe most of the things that you hear on there. And the things used to really get to me, like people commenting about my dad, people saying that they know me from here and I come from here and blah, 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 and all the rest of it. And then as time went on, I became so thick-skinned to that stuff that I can literally look in a comment section now.
Yeah, not bothered.
And people can be saying the worst stuff about me.
It don't faze you.
It doesn't faze me. And I'm so happy that thank God. Because not everyone's like that.
Of course.
Some people, it affects them so badly, like it's destroyed. I've seen people's mental health be destroyed because of it. People have committed.
Yeah.
You know, like so many things have happened to these people because of this. And I don't think that people on the internet, well, some of them do, but some of them don't care because they're miserable. But I don't think they understand how much it actually affects people. And
Did you ever have a time thinking like, now that I'm in the public eye, I can't even like sometimes respond to certain people and say what I want to say?
Do you know what I got? I got to a point where I was actually, my boyfriend at the time would say to me, like, why do you love it? Like, why do you respond to them? Why do you and I used to be at a point where I felt like I used to be like, I'm not a celebrity though. I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And people would be saying to me, but you're in the public eye. You need to look busy, or you need to look like you don't even notice these people. Like, and I would be like, but why do I have to look like that?
So true, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. But it's like you said, there's so many people in them comment sections saying the most worst. But if you say even like, for example, it's something silly as in like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Because Nolay said shut up. It's a big thing. News.
You're rude.
Yeah.
You're rude. Yeah. She hit back at her.
I love that though. I don't care.
I know, yeah.
If they said like she said shut up and all of that, like I wouldn't even. But I'm more likely to not even say shut up.
Yeah.
I'll say something else like that. It's just not even if you like. It could be like, let me try to think of like an example.
Suppose more like, so it's so sad you're even responding to me. Look at yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's my fans would
Be a savage response.
used to be savage, whereas in now, like I look at it and I say, God bless you, have a good day to them now. And I think because I'm more centered now, I'm more at peace with myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like not arguing with people is a form of self-care, and I've really got deep into self-care for myself, and I think that now I kind of like fob it off.
Yeah.
Because that's a form of self-care for myself. It's not even for them, or to not look like that person that argues. Because if I'm totally honest, I don't care what people think of me. I've really reached that point now, because the way I look at things and the way I see things is I'm going to go in the dirt soon. Everyone's going in the dirt.
Of course.
The people that talk about you are going in the dirt. Like, your loved ones are. The people that hate you, the people that you dislike. Everyone, we are all promised the same fate.
Of course.
Nobody's going to escape it, whether it's now for you or later for you, or now for them or later for them. We're all going to the same place in the end. So my thought process has kind of become like, why am I going to waste my time on that?
So true.
It just doesn't make no sense, because when we all die out, no one's going to even remember that someone said that about you, or you responded, or you. And I feel like a lot of the responding comes from as well, when you're on social media, it's like an open stage, and we become affected by what someone has, because they don't know you, that affects you, because you know yourself, you know who you are. So when someone says something, I feel like it can affect you. And then because you know the whole world is looking at it almost, that's what makes you respond.
Yeah.
But I got to the point where I was like, you need to be in control of your emotions, because if you don't,
So true.
you've lost. Everyone's in control of you then.
Would you say, for example, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah, go on, bro.
it differentiates from being a rapper and a singer? So because of the industry that you was in, it made you a bit more thick-skinned and a bit more like, yeah, I can take it, I don't mind.
I don't think so.
No?
I feel like it was a little bit harder as a rapper.
Right. I'm just thinking.
Because it's more like I get what you're saying.
More
Because
tough,
the exterior and
Yeah.
it's like more harder. But I feel like it was harder for me as a rapper. I feel like if I was a singer, it would have been easier for me.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because I feel that because people saw me rapping, they look at you as that tough person. So they feel like these things won't phase her. We'll say what we want.
Yeah, I agree with
Do you know what I mean?
So true,
For me, everyone's human at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like as well, when you're in a male-dominated industry too, and I feel like people expect a lot from me because I'm good at what I do.
I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say that as well, yeah.
People expect a lot. It's not like come on, like I weren't whack. Do you know what I'm saying? And the girls, when you're not that good, if I came out and I was like, oh, hi, I'm a Barbie and that kind of stuff, I feel like people would have been kind of like, they wouldn't be so hard on me.
No, I agree. I agree.
They'd be hard on me because I feel like people are hard on women in general. They're hard on men as well, but I feel like in industry-wise, there's more that's expected from us because it's like how you look, what do you weigh, how do you look, like your figure, your looks, it's like
Everything all bunched into one, yeah.
like and then what is really mad about it as well, it's like you as a woman, you will be hung if you don't get married and have kids. You'll be hung if you do get married and have kids young. You'll be hung if you don't care about having a career. Oh, she's a gold digger, she just wants men for their money. But then if you have a career, you can't wife her because she's got a career and she's too independent. No matter what women do, it's like, no matter what you do, it's like, okay, I'll do, no, like, there's always, like, women are so, like, people are so hard on women. I'm not saying they're not hard on men because they are in different
No, yeah, fair play. This is your views and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I do believe at some point, you know, in my life, I did feel that is the case.
Yeah.
With women, there's a lot of expectation. Like, even in the industry, if you look at it, there's so many more men than women. And I know they just clearly pointed out, and it's so true. You know, you can't sugarcoat these things. I know sometimes we say we can't speak about these things on a podcast, but you have to be real at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like when you see a woman and she's an amazing rapper, an amazing singer, it's so true. If she's not good looking or she's not your cup of tea, let's say, nah, she's all right. But if she was what you expect her to look like especially nowadays with all this, you know, this whole surgery stuff being on the utmost high.
But they hang but I've noticed they hang the women regardless.
Yeah, exactly. If she's got that.
I've seen posts of women being natural.
Yeah.
Just natural. And this woman's not even a rapper or a singer. She's just there, loves herself, she's happy with herself.
Yeah.
People scream all the time, you need to love yourself, you need to love yourself, you need to love yourself, until you love yourself and you don't have surgery and you choose to just keep your body as it is, that what God gave you. And then, oh yeah, but she ain't all that. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, literally. But I've noticed people are never pleased. Like, I've seen there's people out here that will judge a woman for having no BBL, a normal body. And then in the next breath, you got some women that will become insecure, get their BBLs and they're getting judged as well. So I realize you can't.
It becomes a bit hard as well because now it's like, you're not even allowed to say you're natural because now it will just, the comments decide.
No, it's
For
true.
example, right now, if you turn around and say you're natural, someone will still turn around and say, nah.
No, she's not.
She's not. They're not. He's not. He's on roid.
That's such a cheap point.
I see it all the time online. I see it all the time online. They've got this new Ozempic thing that everyone's talking about. As soon as someone loses weight, man or woman, people just say, oh, they did it with Ozempic. And it's almost like, that's because you can't be bothered to go to the gym
and train and
do what it takes.
Absolutely.
That's why you're saying,
You know, it's funny, even off camera, when you first walked in, I know you're looking so good now. I'm like, bless you, you know? And it's not because you don't look good, but when someone's looking their best, you should say it and make you feel like, you know, whatever you're doing, keep it up. And then you're talking about, you know, sugar and how bad sugar is. People ain't going to hear that. You know, but you're actually telling me, you know, sugar's a killer. You know, people don't realize how bad eating sugar is.
It is.
And it's such a small thing, but can you actually imagine someone not having sugar again?
Yeah.
And it's like coming back to what Nolay said. So they'll be like, because she's gotten fit at this time, it's Ozempic.
Yeah.
What do you make of all that stuff, though? Because obviously it is on the high end. I had this conversation with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. And I always think, celebrities should not be promoting that sort of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
because it isn't legal. It's very bad for your body.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've got a few friends that have gone to hospital from it.
Really?
Yeah. I swear to God, and it's like, why would these celebrities want to put up these things that are going to compress your diet? You're going, you ain't going to, when you ask someone, they're like, I'm not eating.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm not eating. I had one bite of a burger and after that, I don't need to eat. I'm like,
Apparently it suppresses your hunger.
yeah, that's what it does.
And shrinks.
You don't want to eat no more. If you have,
Because it's originally for like diabetes and
That's it,
stuff
yeah.
like that,
why
isn't
would
it?
you put that in your body and just to look good, just like you just said, diet, lose weight. That's why I asked you your views on that. Like, when you get all these, I know a few influencers are putting it up on their stories. Maybe they're getting the injections free.
Yeah.
Because they're quite expensive apparently.
Mm.
I think it's £100 or £100 plus for one injection. And I think these girls are probably getting them, and guys, and just to promote a business.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that should not be allowed to be promoted.
I also, do you know what? The way I feel like I used to be quite judgmental
Right.
back in the day. And that might be why I've had karma of people being judgmental towards me. You never know. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Because I feel like sometimes you have to be able to look at yourself as well. That's how you become like a better person. And I feel like back in the day, I probably would have been like, oh, like this person's doing this, or this person's like that, or this person's like that, and kind of have like an opinion.
Yeah, of course.
But now the way I see it is we're living in a time where everywhere you look, for men as well, like it used to be just that for women, but even when you look online for like men, like you see all the gym goers and all the rest of it, and everyone's posting about their fitness journeys and
He's become a
everything else.
thing. Yeah.
Men too, and it's just, I feel like there's a lot of people that are under so much strain, like, and not everyone is blessed with certain genetics and genes and certain things, and sometimes people do that. I feel like, don't get me wrong, if they're the influencers and they're just selling it and they're doing it for a buck, that's different.
Yeah.
But I feel like when there's people out there and they're turning into certain things and they're doing certain things, I feel like some of them are doing it out of desperation.
But
Yeah, true.
the influencers have a little bit of a responsibility.
Definitely,
they have a
100%.
fan base.
100%, we all do.
Yeah.
When you're in the once you're in the public eye,
That's it.
you have, that's why when I said, I don't even think I can say it on here, but that's why when I announced and I said this was, I can't remember how many years it was, and Anthony Joshua posted it, like screenshot it and posted it on his Snapchat, I said, I'm not going to say the N-word no more in my rap music, and I haven't since. Any music that you've heard with that,
What was the reason for that?
is old music, because I just think that it's stupid, if I'm honest. Yeah, because, okay, so for example, I'm traveling. I'm in Albania, for example. And when you get someone and they say, what up, man?
Yeah.
And they say the N-word, a lot of them don't even mean it in a racist way.
Of course not.
But you become so offended by it, and that's not me being offended, but I've seen people be offended
Yeah, they do.
by
They
it.
do. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And it's understandable.
Of course, 100%.
But you see, when these people are watching you call each other it, and they're hearing you in your music, I'm a nickname.
Yeah.
I'm a nickname. Yeah, and you've got to understand the message that it's sending, and that you're putting out there. And even when I listen to like my older music, I mean, other people that want to say it,
No, fair play.
that's your choice. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But me personally, it started to bother me. And it started to bother me because, all right, so for example, I'm in a gym.
Yeah.
And I'm working out like recently, and they're playing rap music. And this particular gym that I was in, there's no people of color in there.
Fair enough.
And when I'm listening to the song and Rick Ross is saying, oh, something, I'm all
Yeah.
over and over again, and then you're seeing them walk around and they're singing, and you're the only person of color in there.
You feel a bit.
It just made me feel weird, and I just realized, but I can't really be mad at these people because
Yeah.
that's all they're hearing you refer to each other. This is what you're choosing to. And another thing that I noticed is when Shade Borough took it and posted it too, because Shade Borough put it up.
Right.
The way the people were reacting in the comments, people from my community, what does she want us to do with this information? And what does she think that she's better than us because of that? And it made me realize, you see the small-mindedness. I just felt like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to be part of it because it's stupid. Because if anything, even if you're like, whatever, and you kind of fob it off, but the fact that you were so annoyed by it
Yeah.
shows you just how normalized it is, kind of thing. And I think that felt like a responsibility as some, because you said, don't we have a responsibility?
Of course.
Yeah.
I said, yeah.
And
Like a couple of years ago, so I can't remember what artist it was, but they brought one of the fans on stage and she was a white girl. And then obviously I think the main song had that word in it.
yeah.
And obviously she's just in the flow because obviously, you're at the thing. She said it and she's there and she's gone and said it. And literally the crowd's gone like, what the hell? And now you're thinking, she's your fan. She's paid for your ticket. She's come there.
Yeah.
You've put her on stage. Clearly you know what song you're about to tell her to sing. And now that she said it, he was fine with it.
Yeah.
It's the way everyone else
Reacted. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that it's okay for them to say it.
Of course not.
I'm just saying that at all.
Like, yeah.
But I'm saying you have to set a standard for yourself, how you want to be treated.
100%.
And if you don't set that standard for yourself, don't expect other people to have that standard for you, because a lot of people will look at it like, well, you don't respect yourself, so why should I respect you? So that was my kind of personal choice. And then once I announced that, I haven't said it since. I also thought as well, like, there are other words that you can use.
Of course.
In a way, for me, it was like lazy putting that word in there. Like, it was just unnecessary for me to do it. So I just kind of stopped, and then I looked at it on a deeper way as well, that I felt like a lot of the labels and, you know, these people in power capitalized off the fact that we talk about each other like this. So I was just like, no, I'm just gonna. And
almost like they changed the meaning of it, really and truly. Everyone use it. Like me, I'll be real with you. A lot of my mates around me, they'll be using it, but they're of the color that they can say. Even when they're around me, I still wouldn't say it. I just don't feel comfortable because of how I was brought up.
yeah,
No, but you know what?
but everyone does.
This and
Everyone does say it now. I know.
Let me just say, right? This is mad, right? Because obviously, no, they said something and it's just clicked. The truth of the matter is, right?
Yeah.
And it might be controversial, but it's not like it's wrong.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not. If you're alone in the room,
decide.
if you're alone in the room and you're having a shave or you're having a shower or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're singing along to a song,
Yeah.
and the N-word comes,
Yeah.
but you're alone, you're
Yeah.
going to say the word.
Yeah, they're gonna say it more than
Like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. They're up. Sure. Because be a little bit of sound of respect. I wouldn't say around.
No,
Yeah.
it's not about the respect side. Obviously, we respect each other anyway,
Mm.
you know, and I feel everyone should.
Yeah.
But what my point being is, you're still going to say the word, but you're just very cautious about how the people are going to take it if you say it in front of them.
100%.
When you say it, you're not saying it because you're trying to be rude. You're on your own, for heaven's sake.
Cool.
But you're saying it because it's a part of the song.
There's just certain.
It's a hearing.
There's just certain words. It just makes me feel like weird. I remember when I was in a taxi
Yeah.
in Wales, and this gentleman, well, not gentleman, but the driver said the P word, referring to Asians.
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't like Pakistanis.
Right.
He was, you know, the short form and the way he was saying it. I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, can you like stop? But it was so normal to him to talk about them like.
Was he Pakistani himself? No, what was it?
He was a white man and he was just saying it, well, you know them.
Yeah.
He was saying, and I said, stop the car.
Yeah.
And I got out of the car and cancelled the cab. I didn't want to be in the cab because I just hate stuff like that.
Okay.
Just dislike it.
But don't forget, it's also...
And when I'm around like my Asian friends and they say it to each other,
yeah.
I still feel uncomfortable. But
Pakistani, yeah.
That's the same way though, isn't it? You know, but saying that, she means a short.
but
Huh?
if they say it to each other,
Hold on.
but I would never.
That's the.
Do you understand? Yeah, I don't like it because you got to understand when my dad,
Well, actually, it's not.
when my dad was coming up,
Yeah.
it's not the same. Of course, it's not the same as in because it's the short form of
Yeah.
Pakistani.
Exactly.
But you got to understand when our parents were coming up in the UK
Yeah.
and what they were going through
100%.
and what they were being called.
100%.
They weren't really calling each other that.
No, of course not.
The Asians. It was the racists that were referring to them like that.
Agreed.
So when I'm like thinking of my dad and his friends and how they grew up and they've told me about these things,
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable now. I can't say these things. It makes me feel just weird.
You know, talking about your dad, I'm just getting a bit off topic now.
Yeah.
But coming back to your music side and your younger generation, when you started getting into, I know you don't like calling it grime, but in my days it was like grime.
Yeah.
When you got into the grime, how did your like dad find it? Like, you know, seeing you do the rap and everything.
That's a good question. I
know what?
Having all these
The first time
Yeah.
my dad saw me on TV, it was on MTV Base.
Right.
And he was actually in a mental hospital
Oh, okay.
because my dad suffered from schizophrenia.
Right.
So at the time when he first saw me on TV, it was Unorthodox Daughter, and he was sitting in, they have like the TV rooms
Right.
that they put everybody in basically,
yeah.
like after they've given you your medication and all the rest of it. And when he first saw me, he actually like lost it and started going like mad. And they came running in, like the nurses and all that, and they thought he was having an episode.
Right.
And they juiced him up. So when I saw him again, because I was going to try to take them to court, like that was like a whole, because when I saw him again, he was like, you came on TV.
Yeah.
And I
happy. Yeah.
just went, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
it's my daughter kind of thing. It started going mad. And he said that they juiced him up, basically, like, my dad was with my dad, it was like a roller coaster with my dad. My dad was in and out of jail.
Right, yeah.
Struggling with his mental health. And it was very taboo back then, though. It's not like now, things are a bit more open. Yeah. And you get to talk about it more. And I feel like they're better with the medication that they're offering people. But back then, they first diagnosed my dad with depression.
Right.
So he didn't know that he had schizophrenia. He knew that he was feeling different. But when he went to them, they said to him, you're depressed. So he was taking antidepressants. He was taking antidepressants for a long time. When Top Boy, when the season, was it the first season or the other season? I can't remember out of the two. No, because that one came out in September. That one was in March. But one of them was released on the 18th. It was of March.
Okay.
Which is my dad's birthday.
Okay.
So that has a lot of significance for me because my dad didn't live to see all of that. So he saw like a few things with my music, but he didn't get to see like Top Boy and stuff like that. So when they released it on his birthday, I was really excited and happy about that.
Of course, yeah.
But my dad was really different to my mum. So my mum didn't really want me to do music. She never said it.
Yeah,
you felt it.
But yeah, my mum, it's weird. Like I had really, like me and my mum clash a lot. But I love my mum to death. But we do clash though.
Yeah.
Whereas in me and my dad, we got on a lot because before my dad began to get ill, he was a musician. So he was self-taught, like guitar, piano, used to open up basically and tour a little bit with the reggae artist Sanchez and stuff like that. So he had a background of that. So when I would play my stuff to him, he was super excited about it. Whereas in my mum, I don't think she understood that world.
Yeah.
Or it might have been that world was painful for her because it reminded her of my dad, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what I've learned now, though, is to give my mum grace. Because what I feel like is when I think about how much I clash with my mum, I think to myself, but your mother was so consistent in your life. She might not have understood music and stuff like that, but she was always consistent. And she was all, do you know what I mean?
100%.
Even with all the issues that my dad was going through and what she had to deal with as a result to that. Whereas then I feel like not all of us, but some of us, our dads are not as consistent. But it's almost like we will worship the ground that they walk on for the minimum that they do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like
whatever favors you.
It's almost like you put them on a pedestal for that little bit that they do because it's not expected from fathers to do as much as the mothers. Does that make sense? So you kind of give your mothers a hard time because it's almost like, oh yeah, they've done all of that, but they've got this wrong and that wrong. Because almost like you expect so much from them.
Of course. Yeah.
When really and truly, I feel like we need to learn to like give like our mothers grace. Because I feel like when I was growing up, sometimes I didn't really do that. If that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Whereas with my father, I feel like he got a lot of leeway.
Do you reckon that's because of the connection of music that you two had together?
I think it's because of that, but it might be. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think with what I've always said this, me and my missus, we speak about it all the time. And I always say, I think girls will always side their fathers.
Yeah.
And the boys will side their mothers. And
yeah, it's true.
I can't go against that. I feel that is the case.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think that's probably why you had that connection with your dad.
Yeah, I think, do you know what I think? I think that it's like that in life in general. I feel like when you get a little bit of something, you tend to glorify it. And that's with anything. Do you not think?
Yeah, I agree.
When something is scarce, because what does scarcity bring? It's almost like it brings value.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
And-
So I think as human beings, when we feel like, because I don't know if you've noticed, like when you do a lot for someone,
Yeah.
they start to, not everyone, because some people are grateful, but when you do a lot for people sometimes, it becomes so common to them
Expectation.
that it's almost like an expectation, and it's almost like so common to them and normal to them, to the point
Where
they
it's so
don't even value it no more. Do you get what I'm saying? But when you give, I feel like the scarcity,
No, I
it
agree.
almost increases
Powerful.
your honor and respect. I swear it says that in the 48 Laws of Power about being scarce. You know,
It does.
increases your honor and
Yeah,
your
well.
respect. And I feel like a lot of us are like that when it comes to a parent that is kind of,
distant a little bit, and then
but does certain things for you. You almost glorify what they do for you so much because this person that does,
yeah.
it's normal. You expect it from them. Does that make sense?
It's so true. I swear to God.
100%.
You know what, Nolay? There was something I did want to touch up, which we spoke about earlier, and I was unaware of it.
Yeah.
And it was your religious beliefs and your
Oh yeah.
right? And
yeah.
honestly, it shocked me. And not that it's wrong, and we should never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Obviously, growing up, we saw you rapping and singing and being, I called you rapper. But when I found out that you're a revert into Islam,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about a little bit about
Yeah.
that because it was something that interested me on a
Yeah.
personal. I don't normally say that to a lot of guests.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak about that a little bit. When did you actually revert, and if you don't mind me asking, why?
When did I revert? It was, I'd say it was probably over 10 years ago, It was quite a long time ago. And I reverted because, okay, so basically my sister was the first one out of us
Bless.
to revert. I think she was only 16 when she reverted. But after my dad passed away, I mean, I'm not saying it was that,
Of course, but it's just
but I noticed after that, like, I saw my sister kind of moving towards that path. And me and my sister had fights and that about that. Because I was very ignorant back then, And that's why I don't get angry when I see other people's ignorance towards Islam. Because I was ignorant. When my sister, because you got to understand, I was from South London, and there was a time in Brixton where people were beating you up
Of course.
if you weren't taking your shahada and becoming Muslim. We're not beating the girls up, but
I know what you mean.
dudes were getting wrapped up.
Yeah.
Like it was, do you know what I mean? So I was looking at it like, this is some cult thing, and they've got my sister. That's how I was seeing it, like, because there was so much people reverting, and it was. I was thinking, what is going on? And it's my little sister, and I remember, I can't remember what it is, what I said, but we had a fight in my mother's hallway because she had reverted, and I said something like, "Oh, you and your stupid Muslim friends," or whatever, something like that. And we actually had like a physical fight because she went for me, and we was like fighting.
Who won the fight?
I can't remember. I think we both. No, my mum split us up because me and my sister can both fight. So that would have gone on forever.
Messy.
Yeah, that would have gone on forever. And plus, I've got brothers as well, so they would have split us up too. But yeah, I was very ignorant, even when I look back now.
Yeah.
But it teaches me as well that you can be small-minded and ignorant. Because I remember how I was, when I found out, and the way I reacted to it, and the way I felt about it at the time. But I was also like misinformed and ill-informed. I didn't know the things that I know now, if that makes sense. And I can't remember. I think a couple years went by. Like, she started wearing hijab,
Mashallah.
and now I can say mashallah. But back then I was
Of
thinking,
course.
my beautiful sister, like, covering up her hair, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I was seeing it. That's how I was looking at it. And one day I was sitting in, I can't remember exactly how it got to that point, but I was sitting in my flat, and I had been, when you have the Sky channels,
Yeah, of course.
right? And they get cut off, and Sky gets cut off,
Yeah.
and you got like certain channels still. I think it was like Channel U.
Is that a cop?
Channel U, Pop TV, and I had Peace. The Peace channel was still
Yes.
there. So one day I was watching it out of curiosity and I just left it on basically, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up the next day and it was still on. And then I found myself like leaving it on at night time. Like I found it quite soothing, some of the stuff. And I just started to like read up about it more and just to kind of learn about it. And one of my brothers had reverted as well, just after my sister.
Right.
And then one day I was just like, I want to take my shahada. Like, I don't
love me. Yeah.
I know where it
And I'm not
I was like, I just felt like I needed to do it. Like it was just like something that come over me. And I think the thing was as well, which I've left out, this is such a crazy story. I was walking home late at night from my friend's house.
Right.
And she said to me, don't leave at this time of night. And I said to her, like, I don't know what it is. I need my bed. And when I get like that, I have to go home. Like, I have to. And she was like, there was no Ubers, no taxis, nothing. I was like, it's only 20 minutes. She goes, but it's dark. It's only... And I was like, I've got to do it. So I left. And when I was walking, this black Clio drove past me. Slowly, kind of. I was walking down the road that way. And a black Kia, because I used to live down there somewhere called the Brit School.
Right.
And there's like this long White Horse Road kind of thing. And then you've got like the Princess Road and all that. And they've got like the cemetery
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
beside it kind of thing. It's quite dark. I'm walking down there. So my road's like here. So I'm going to rear off here.
Yeah.
Within like about 5-10 minutes. And a black Clio's gone driving past me, right? And they've driven past me quite slowly, but I've just thought it's a Saturday night. It's probably dudes just checking me out. They're coming from a party or something. I've not thought nothing of it again. So that car's gone past me. It's gone off. I've not thought nothing.
Yeah.
Then this tall white dude comes walking down the road basically towards me like this. And I'd never forget how he looked. Like he had blonde hair, blue eyes, black shirt on, black trousers, and he's walking this way and he looks quite friendly.
Yeah.
So he's gone this way. And even though he looks friendly and he smiled at me, when you're a woman,
You're feeling a bit...
when a man smiles at you, you don't want to be rude because you feel like they might do something to you, but you don't want to smile because you feel like they might do something to you because you might give them the wrong impression.
Cool.
So he's walking this way past me and he's gone, as he's walked past me, he's gone like that to me. So I've kind of just gone, tried to be like right in the middle, like not rude, but not too nice kind of thing. And I swear to you, when I walked past him, I turned back and he was kneeling down and he was doing his shoelace and he was looking back at me. So I just thought, maybe he's just checking me out. It might just be a bit of a perv, like he's not no danger.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, as I'm walking, not forgetting that my road's like there, I'm getting closer to my turning. And I don't think he knew that that was my turning or, you know, where I live.
Yeah.
As I'm getting closer, I heard the loudest voice. I don't know if it was instinct, if it was something, I don't know what it was, telling me to run. The voice was so loud. When I say the voice was so loud, in like, I used to say that I thought it was my dad. But with our belief, my brother's like, no, like, he's in the grave. Like, it's not, it wouldn't have been dad kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm hearing run, like, and it got louder and louder. And this really weird feeling come over me. And I just kicked my shoes off, like almost like, you know, like semi into the air, like kicked off my shoes and grabbed them. And I started to run. I don't know why. Something just come over me that told me you're in danger. You need to run.
Yeah.
Even though he was just literally like looking back. I swear to you, wallahi, no word of a lie. When I looked back, he was running after me. I promise you. Like I'm running down the road like this. I look back. The way he's running, he looks like a completely different person in his face as well. Like he looks angry.
Evil, yeah.
I'm feeling like if this guy, I don't know why he's chasing me or what he wants. And as I've darted into my road, I don't know what gave me the fast thinking, but I'm thinking to myself, and this is all because it's all happened in the space of time. We're like here, the road's there. I've darted into my road. There's the cemetery there.
Yeah.
It's pitch black on my road. So I'm thinking to myself, if I keep running down here, something could happen to me. No one would even see or hear or nothing. So I stopped on the edge of the road. There's like flats at the beginning. Anyone that lived on Princess Road, they would know.
Yeah.
There's like flats basically right at the beginning of the road. I've stopped on the corner, looked up at a window and said, yo, like I'm talking to someone. Come down. There weren't nobody there. You know, the light was on and the window was slightly lit, but there weren't nobody there.
Of course, yeah.
When he's darted into the road, he's, you know, when you're hesitant. So he's gone like that.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at me, but he's like edging forward. It's almost like, you know, when he's battling with himself, like,
Course, yeah.
should I go and do whatever he was planning to do to me, or should I just duck out?
Yeah.
And then he did that a couple times, and then he turned around and he ran. There's like another road that rears off of my road, down into somewhere called Boulogne Park,
right? And
it's pitch black down there. He's reared off there. I'm still standing there because I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm still acting like someone's coming down because I'm thinking he's ran down that road. But where is he? Like, is he hiding somewhere now? Also, I'm in the public eye, so I'm thinking maybe he knows who I am. He could have been watching me for ages. Like, I don't know what he wants from me. Does he even know that I live on this road?
Yeah.
And then what do I hear? The black Clio that drove past me earlier, like a good 10, 15 minutes before, came spinning out of the road and he drove off. So that was him. It was him. So that means what he must have done was driven down past me slowly, went into that road, parked down that black road,
then
walked out. His plan was probably to come up behind me, probably drag me back to his car. I don't even want to think about what that perhaps. But after that happened, and after I heard that I had that instinct, that's kind of what made me think as well, like,
shit, yeah.
Because I've had so many close, like, experiences, like, so many.
Yeah, 100%.
Where anything could have happened to me. And then, I was just like, I need to take my Shahada. So I took my Shahada. And then the rest is history. I still struggle with it sometimes, you know, I'm not going to pretend that I don't. But
yeah, no one's perfect, everyone.
But I don't think that, the reason why I asked, not a lot of people, including myself, who followed your journey for so many years now. I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
She told you. People do get surprised.
Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah, beautiful to know that.
Yeah, of course.
I know, you know what? We're running out of time. It's getting late. You're on a flight in the morning.
Yeah.
Before we go, just, for all the people that have been following you, supporting you, who actually, love you, and, just a message for them before we leave. That would be lovely.
I love you. Thank you. Because without them, do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
You would cease to exist. That's how I see it. Like,
is there anything new that they could be looking forward to coming out soon?
Do you know what? I am working on a few things, but I don't want to give I don't want to give too much away at the moment. Like, as you said, I'm traveling a lot because I feel like as an artist, sometimes we get a bit stagnant and then you're writing about the same things. And I realized all my best music came from experiencing life and then going back and writing about it. So I've been living a lot so that I have something to write about. So yeah, there will be new stuff coming.
Yes.
And on the acting front as well. But that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, just patient.
Just following it.
So you know what, guys? There you have it. An amazing chat with Nolay. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss none of our uploads.
Peace, love, and respect.
Thank you.
To the core.